My name is Hannah, and this is my no-buy year. So I just got home from work and I'm going to film another video, but before I do that, I need to kind of fix up my face a little bit. I did put on some makeup this morning, a very simple eye look and some very, very light base makeup and a little bit of a cheek, I think. But at this point, it's rather the worse for wear. And also, I usually like to go a little bit of the extra mile when I'm putting makeup on for filming. So I sat down to essentially spruce myself up, and I thought I might as well go ahead and turn the camera on and film a very short get ready with me. What I am planning to do is to use all four of the things for which I recently shopped my stash. So I'll be using the Marc Jacobs Style Eye-Con palette, the Glossier Cloud Paints, the Urban Decay Naked Skin Highlighting Fluid, and my Tom Ford lipstick in Indian Rose. Let's go ahead and get right into it. First things first, I have some makeup on the side of my eye. I don't know how well you can see that, but I think it is some crumblings of mascara and maybe just consolidated gunk from my eyes having watered when I walked to work. I do like a smudgy casual eye, so I'm not too worried about smudging out what's there. But I do want to clean up these kind of dots of mascara that are on the outside edges of my eye. So this morning I put on this kind of reddish brown, very simple smoked out grungy eye, and I used two eyeshadows from this, my Marc Jacobs Style Eye-Con palette. I used this brown, which was really calling to me from this palette because it has all of these golden micro glitters in it, and it was looking really nice and shimmery in the pan. When I started working with this eyeshadow, it all just buffed away. It just kind of turned into brown. So I was buffing it out up into my crease and it wasn't blending how I wanted, so I decided to use a second shadow, and on impulse I went in with this one right here, which is quite a rusty transition shade, especially since I tend not usually to go for those warms. But I like how it came out. I liked it. When I do go warm, I go grungy. So this is the kind of thing that I do put on my eyes from time to time. It's one of my regular gigs. But for tonight, I'm gonna dress it up a little bit, and honestly, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Let me take a look at the palette. All right, I think the first thing I'm going to do is, working with the base that's already on my eye, I'm just going to bring it up higher and buff it out further. So I'm going to start with that exact eyeshadow that I was saying I don't usually tend towards, so it's kind of a rusty orangey transition. And I'm going to take it on this, not my fluffiest brush, because I want to have a little bit more control than I usually do at this stage, and I'm going to dip it in lightly and go in. You can see by comparing my two eyes how much higher I've brought that transition shade and how it still doesn't look weird. Neither one looks weird. This one looks fine. This one also looks fine. The reason I'm doing this and not just leaving the transition that I had during the day is that because my eyes are hooded, if I want to build kind of something more complex onto my lid area, it helps to widen the canvas to give myself kind of a bigger canvas, the illusion of a bigger eye socket or a bigger eye, by bringing that deeper transition shade up way further up above my crease. For a daytime look where it was just kind of one color smudged out, I didn't really need to bring it out this far. But for the look that I hope I will end up with today, I think it will help. All right, there we go. That's the kind of super buffed out transition shade that I tend to go for when I'm building more of a nighttime look. I think I'm actually going to take this same brush and go into that ostensibly sparkly glittery brown, this kind of warm, rich brown, and bring that's the other color that's already on my eye, but I'm going to bring that up even further into my crease and just deepen up the crease a bit with that. It's going on more pigmented than I expected, and it's getting higher up into my crease than I expected. This color also looks incredibly warm in the pan, and then it applies really almost like a cool brown onto the eyes. All right, that's looking pretty even and pretty close to what I want as a base. What next? Part of me is tempted, as I always am, to go in with this beautiful yellow gold, but I think because I know that I'm going to be dealing with really quite a fresh rosy cheek today, I'm gonna stick to something a little bit more neutral. So I'm gonna dip into this color right here. It's kind of a warm champagne bronze, and I'm going to put that onto my lid with my finger. So I'm actually putting this on kind of like a topper. I'm not trying to pack it on super thick. I'm just trying to give something for my dark brown to kind of blend into the color of my skin, which is what I'm hoping to keep on the inner corner. And then I'm just taking that same brush that I had with the brown shadow and very, very gently blending it into the edge of the gold. It's not a very harsh line because of the way I was applying it, but just making sure. And I'm actually going to take a really little brush, and there are two kind of matte cream shades in this palette. There's one that's a little bit yellower and there's one that's a little bit more white. I'm gonna take the one that's a little bit more white, sorry, it's over here, and put that in my inner corner. So this is just a matte white shade, creamy white. So I'm just popping that in the very inner corner and blending it into the bronze. And then I'm actually going to use the other side of this brush to buff them together a little bit. All right, I'd like to deepen the outer corners with a black shadow. I'm going to use this black in the bottom center right here. There's a deep charcoal in this palette. There's a sort of plain matte black, and then there's this black with silver glitters. I'm going to go for the plain matte black, and using this little pencil brush, I'm just going to pop it into the outer corners pretty judiciously, just a tiny bit, and a little bit along the outer quarter of my lash line. I know from experience that this a little goes a long way with this black eyeshadow. So I'm just popping a little bit in there, and then it will probably buff out quite far. And I think I'm gonna stick with that. It's messy and dimensional, just how I like it. So I'm gonna take some of those same eyeshadows and buff them out on my lower lash line. All right, I'm gonna clean up this fallout and apply some more mascara on top of the mascara that's still on my lashes from earlier in the day. Then I'm going to zoom out, so I'll be right back to do the rest of my face with you. By the way, I've been meaning to thank everyone for all of the support and excellent ideas for videos that you left in my comment section on the monthly check-in. I guess it was my August check-in when I asked what you guys wanted to see, and there was such a wonderful response, so thank you. And one of the most requested videos is the Q&A. So I want to do a Q&A, and I was thinking that maybe in this video, in the comment section, you can leave your Q's, your questions, and then I will cull some questions from this comment section for my Q&A. So if you have a question for me that you'd like to see me answer in my Q&A, leave it in the comment section down below, and then why don't you also go through the comment section and upvote the ones that you would most like to see. So I'll be paying attention to which comments have the most thumbs up. I'll assume that those are the ones that people want answered the most. And if you have more than one question for me, maybe go ahead and separate them out, each question into its own individual comment, so that people can thumbs up just the one question that they want to vote for. So I did clean up some of the fallout. I'm actually going to go ahead and remove the makeup from the rest of my face. I'm going to use a cotton pad and my Bioderma. As you know, I never use Bioderma to remove my makeup and then call that a day, ever. At the end of the day, when I'm ready to put on my skincare and go to sleep, I always use an oil cleanser and then a second cleanser and then my skincare. But I will use the Bioderma in situations like this, where I'm just kind of getting excess makeup off of my skin so that I can reapply it better, cleaning up the edges of things, etc. So I'm gonna pop on a little serum just so my skin isn't too dry under the primer. I'm using my Galactomyces Tone Balancing Essence, just one little pump. It has kind of a serum-y consistency, but it soaks in really fast. And then to prime today, I'm going to use my Urban Decay Optical Illusion Complexion Primer. This is a really stiff product. It creates quite a thick layer and it needs a good bit of blending and smoothing over the skin. I chose it today because my skin's looking kind of red right now, mostly because I was swiping a cotton pad across the surface of my skin to remove my makeup. But, you know, it's a little bit flushed. And this product has a slight pinkish cast that I find actually helps to even and brighten my skin tone. But it's not enough on its own, so I'm going to go in with a little bit of green color corrector. And before I spot conceal, I'm actually going to go in with the tiniest touch of Tarte Shape Tape under my eyes. I've got quite the red flush going on right here. I'm not sure if I might have gotten a little sun there. I can't quite tell why it's doing that today. It could just be hormonal, it could be the weather, but I feel like I need a little bit of brightening in those spots. I feel like I went a mite too far with that last little splotch of Shape Tape. I was thinking that because I'm going to be using the cloud paints, I wanted to make sure that those really have a canvas on which to be displayed so that you can see how they're performing. I regret it a little bit. I wish I hadn't put that last bit of Shape Tape on. But I did, and so I just kind of buffed it and buffed it and buffed it into my skin to try to make it look as natural as possible. I'm gonna get to a little bit of spot concealing with my little cream concealer. This little spot right here really does not want to be concealed. He is like, do not hide my light under a bushel. All right, that is just going to have to be good enough. Let's move on to all of the fun things. I'm going to start by applying, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna clean up my brows a little bit actually before we move on to the fun things. I'm just gonna use some powder on an angled brush and maybe some more brow gel. I'm actually not going to put any more gel in them. They are staying in place just fine from the gel that was in there this morning. Because I just put eyeshadow in them to fill them in, if I went in with wet brow gel right now, I think that the gel would kind of mix with the powder and potentially make a mess. So they're behaving pretty well. I'll keep an eye on them. I'm moving on to the fun part. So here's my little sample of the Urban Decay Naked Skin Highlighting Fluid in the color Sin. And I have learned over just a few short days of working with this that it dries down very fast. I love, love, love how it looks, but I prefer to apply it and then blend it out with a brush, and I cannot apply it on both cheeks and then blend with a brush on both cheeks, or by the time I get to the second cheek, it is kind of a stripe. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to apply it, blend it onto all of the places on my face I wish to highlight. I've been having much better luck these days with cream highlighters if I put them on underneath my blush products. That was also true when I was using Spoon, the ColourPop highlight. Over the past several weeks, that's what I've been using the most. So I would say putty and cream highlighters lately, I've been applying them underneath of my blushes and really enjoying that, and underneath of my bronzers and everything. Speaking of blushes, which color should I use? Which cloud paint color? I feel like, I think I'm gonna go for Beam, which is the brighter one. Dusk is so beautiful. It's like my favorite. This is the one I kind of tend towards, a duskier, more, you know, grungy, editorial look. But I've been pleasantly surprised. I kind of felt like Beam would be out of favor with me because it's a brighter, kind of peachier color, and I've been pleasantly surprised by how much I like the way that it looks. So I think I'm going to be blending it out with this Wet n Wild brush, and a little goes a really long way with these products, but I think I want to use a lot right now. Tiny bit on the nose. You have to be careful with this product on the nose because, again, a little bit goes such a long way. It's pretty intense. It's already really, that's a lot. There. It's so pretty. I almost feel like the particular prettiness of this is something I'm like telling you with my brushes. The particular prettiness of this is something that it's going to be potentially hard to capture on camera, because the thing that's so extraordinary to me is that it's very bright. It's a look, especially in real life, it's really a look, but it looks really natural. So it simultaneously looks quite blushy and quite natural. It really, really looks like I just flushed this color and in the exact right spot on my face. But a little went such a long way. Like, look how much I still have left on my hand. I find it nearly impossible to only squirt out from the tube the amount of product that I'm going to use. As I use them more, maybe I'll get more adept at that. But at this point, I feel like I'm squirting out twice as much as I need every time, which means that I'm going to go through these blush products twice as fast as I otherwise would have needed to, which would be a shame if a little didn't go such a long way, and if it weren't such a generous amount of product. I mean, I even feel like squirting out extra every time, I'm never going to use up either of these. So cloud paint, yes, I feel like that brought so much life to my cheeks, and I really like the effect of the highlighter beaming through from underneath Beam, the cloud paint. My lips are feeling pretty dry, but I kind of like sometimes applying a lipstick onto dry lips. They're not so dry that they're cracking and patchy, you know, like they don't feel like they have flakes of skin on them so that it's going to mess up the application of the lipstick. They just feel like they're going to remain dry, like they're going to be a little bit wrinkled, a little bit textured, the way that dry lips are. But to be honest, I don't mind that look. I feel like really plump, juicy lips are sort of not the most natural looking all the time. Like, they sometimes make me look a little bit more made up, whereas I could put a lipstick on, even if it's a color that makes it very obvious that I am wearing lipstick. Sometimes just kind of like a stainy, creamy lipstick scrubbed into a dry, natural looking mouth, I feel is more natural, more along the lines of, I didn't try too hard, but I kind of know what I'm doing with makeup, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm not going to use a lip scrub or a lip product to moisturize my lips. I'm just going to go right in with this lipstick and try to apply it in kind of like a blotted, matted, staining way. I'm using my finger to really, really work the pigment into my lips and to soften the lip line. And now I'm gonna blot this on the back of my hand so it looks a little bit less freshly applied. That's what I prefer. So that's Indian Rose, the Tom Ford lip color that I shopped my stash for. I have this little sample size of it. Really, really pretty. And that is it. I am going to go ahead and film another video right now, or maybe a couple of other videos if I have enough time. I'm not sure when I will be posting this, so you may have already seen a video with this look, or a video with this look maybe forthcoming as you watch this. But either way, please put your questions for me for my Q&A in the comment section down below. I'm excited to see what you guys have to ask me, and I'm looking forward to being able to put together a list and go ahead and film that video for you. Ooh, I forgot to put my mole back on. All right, that really is it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll remember to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work